Welcome back to the channel. My name is Kavika and I am the Squared Circle Scholar. It's time for Survivor Series. It's War Games, baby. And these are my predictions. Just before we get into the predictions though, let me know down in the comments below, who do you think is going to be coming out on top at Survivor Series War Games? First on the card, we have the men's War Games match with the team of CM Punk, Cody Rhodes, Jay and Jimmy Uso, and Roman Reigns versus Braun Breaker, Bronson Reed, Logan Paul, Drew McIntyre, and Brock Lesnar. I want to get this out of the way because I have a real issue with the War Games match. I do like that it's in a cage because it's always fun having all these no disqualification matches. I completely and utterly dislike the fact that we have to wait for all 10 people to get into the match for it to finally begin. What is the point of that? Just have them all start out 10 at a time at the very beginning. What is this waiting a whole hour for the match to begin for it to end 10 minutes later? What is the point in that? Anyways, that's my little rant about War Games matches. Here's my second rant. Why are both of the world champions in this match? Can anyone explain that to me? I like the way that they've brought in CM Punk as the World Heavyweight Champion into this match. It at least logically makes sense within the greater storyline. Cody Rhodes, on the other hand, makes absolutely no sense whatsoever. I get it. He's been kind of pseudo-feuding with Drew McIntyre, but Drew McIntyre is suspended from SmackDown, and Cody Rhodes is the SmackDown champ. So why does he care if Drew's doing something else? He's not fighting him for his title, and they don't have like a blood feud going on. So why does he care? And I know I'm into wrestling a bit deeper than your average person that watches wrestling, but to me, all this says is lazy writing alert. They didn't want to write a feud for Cody to be in, and they didn't really have anything else that they could cobble together, so just throw him in War Games. We'll make it make sense later. And I can kind of understand where they were coming from with Roman Reigns putting him on the side of CM Punk because they both got betrayed by Paul Heyman at WrestleMania. And I'm assuming Seth Rollins was supposed to be in this War Games match, but of course, due to injury, he's not here. Get better, Seth. Hopefully everything's all right with your injury. With saying all of this, the bad guys are going to win. They have to. The vision of Bronson Reed, Braun Breaker, and kind of Logan Paul. The two first guys, Braun and Braun, they need wins really bad. Logan Paul is just kind of, I don't know where to really categorize him. He's kind of a wrestler, but kind of a part-timer, kind of just a celebrity guy. He's in this weird gray area of wrestling. And he doesn't really need wins because he can kind of just show up, do the cool little thing, and move on to the next thing. Whereas Braun and Braun, they're here all the time. They are just wrestlers, and they need wins if they want to be seen as an actual threat as heels for any title, any feud they go into. Because right now, it ain't looking too good for them. The only person on this team that doesn't need a win is Brock Lesnar. I'm assuming they just put him in here just to fill out, everything. Because otherwise, like I said, it probably would have just been Seth. Seth, the Bronze, Logan, and Drew. That seems like a good team to me. And the last guy, Drew McIntyre, who is the most desperate person for a singular win whatsoever in the entirety of the WWE. I'm talking, we're talking about Raw, SmackDown, NXT, Speed, LFG, their developmental program in Orlando. I'm talking everywhere. This man needs a win. And I don't even care if he's the guy who pins or submits somebody from the other team. He needs something. He's got nothing to grab onto. And so with saying that, just because there's really no storyline with Punk, Cody, the Usos, or Roman that doesn't involve them all together, the Vision team is winning. Braun, Logan, Drew, Brock. Next on the card, for the Women's World Championship, we have Stephanie Vaquer versus Nikki Bella. Nikki finally did it. She finally turned heel in Boston, of all places. And I think this match is just a throwaway match. This is a nice, easy feud for Stephanie to look insanely strong while turning Nikki heel in a way that makes sense. And then maybe we send Nikki down into mid-card for the Women's Intercontinental Championship, so she could fight with the likes of Lyra, Becky, and the current Intercontinental Champion. So let's just be real for a second. Stephanie Vaquer is not losing to Nikki Bella. This is just a little fodder match, just to fill out the Survivor Series card, because I'm assuming both WarGames matches are probably both going to take at least an hour each. So that's 2 hours right there. Then you give Stephanie Vaquer and Nikki Bella 10, 15-minute match. You give John and Dom a 10, 15-minute match. We get a 2.5 hour PLE and we're good to go. So Stephanie Vaquer is going to remain champion. She's going to go against whoever, maybe a Becky at this point, because she's done what she can in the mid-card scene and bring her back up. That'd be kind of interesting to see. But what would be even more interesting is to see what direction they take Nikki Bella. Her versus Maxine Dupree is, honestly, something I don't want to see, but I feel like we're going to get it anyway. Don't get me wrong, Maxine Dupree is so much better than she was a few years ago, but I still don't think she's the one to make Nikki Bella look good. You know what I mean? Some wrestlers like AJ Styles can wrestle a broomstick and make it look amazing. But Maxine Dupree is definitely somebody that still needs somebody to carry her. She can't carry someone in a match yet. Next on the card, for the WWE Intercontinental Championship, we have champion John Cena versus Dominic Mysterio. This, to me, storyline-wise, is the best written out story, just because we have the Time Is Now tournament slowly coming to an end. We're going to figure out who's going to be John Cena's final opponent, and we have Dominic Mysterio, who just lost his championship to John Cena, and he's also the AAA Mega Champion, I think it's called. Pretty sure it's called that. Dom wants his championship back. John wants to hold on to the title for as long as he can, especially if he can have it for that final match of whoever wins the Time Is Now tournament. And I usually don't do this because WWE usually doesn't do it, but I think John Cena retains here, so we're going to have all the champions retain at Survivor Series. And everyone's been speculating the exact same thing, that Gunther will go on to win the tournament, face John Cena in his final match at Saturday night's main event, December 13th, for the Intercontinental Championship, defeat John Cena for the title, and then Gunther will go on another amazing mid-card reign with the Intercontinental Championship. Honestly, it's predictable, but I wouldn't hate it. I think it's better than just John losing it here, giving it back to Dom, and then, yeah, cool, we still get the Time Is Now tournament. You know, he faces whoever at Saturday night's main event. But there's really nothing on the line except for, whoever he's facing. They have the chance to beat John Cena. Whereas if there's the championship involved, John can retain it and retire as champion. Or whoever beats him not only gets the accolade of retiring John Cena, but retiring John Cena, who was the Intercontinental Champion, and then they become the Intercontinental Champion themselves. That's crazy. And don't get me wrong, I love Dominic Mysterio's character. I think he's doing great work, but his time with the Intercontinental Championship, for now, should be done and over with, and he should be moving on to bigger and better things. Maybe even the main event scene. And finally, in the Women's WarGames match, we have the team of Rhea Ripley, Io Sky, Alexa Bliss, Charlotte Flair, and AJ Lee versus Nia Jax, Lash Legend, the Kabuki Warriors, and Becky Lynch. To me, this is the War Games match to watch. It just seems like to me you have a lot more versatile talent in ring than you do out of ring in this match. Because if you look at the men's, you got Cody, you got Punk, you got Roman, which, don't get me wrong, they're good in the ring, but they're not great. They're better with their promo skills. And then also you got Logan, Drew, Brock. I mean, sure, Logan is probably the most versatile one in the men's War Games match, and that's kind of sad to say. But a lot of these guys aren't able to do these spectacular, crazy moves that we expect to see. Now, I don't want to take away, they might do some crazy hardcore stuff. If you go back to Bad Blood between Punk and Drew McIntyre, they might pull something out like that, which would be kind of crazy. But if you look at the roster, you got Rhea Ripley. She's just insanely strong. Io Sky can just fly all over the place. Charlotte Flair, your more technical wrestler. Alexa Bliss is kind of in that in-between of Io Sky and Charlotte Flair, where she's real technical, but she can do some high-flying stuff. And AJ Lee is kind of your wild card for the baby faces here. She hasn't wrestled in a real long time, except for her, her debut match back. And honestly, I wasn't too impressed. And then even on the heel side, you got Becky Lynch, who is more your technical wrestler to, go one-to-one with Charlotte Flair. You have Nia Jax and Lash Legend, who are just two dominant women in the ring that could rival the likes of Jade Cargill in strength, which I think Rhea Ripley is going to have a hard time keeping up with that, if I'm being honest. And then you have Asuka and Kairi Sane, two high-flying, two very technical wrestlers. I think the heels here are gonna wipe the floor with the baby faces. And if they don't, they are doing such a huge disservice to the women's division right now. Nia Jax and Lash Legend coming together as a brand new tag team should be utterly dominant when it comes to any kind of tag team match. It shouldn't even be close, except if there's like interference or something goes awry or crazy. And then you have Asuka and Kairi Sane, two just insanely good wrestlers. They got the high flying, they got the technical ability, and they also just became your women's tag team champions. So I don't think they should be losing anytime soon. Even if they are the ones that don't get pinned, they don't need to lose, because who else is going to lose here? Becky is just off a loss of Maxine Dupree losing her women's Intercontinental title to her. Nia Jax has been losing nonstop. Lash Legend, you pretty much just called her up from NXT. She doesn't need to lose here. And like I just said, your women's tag team champions don't need to lose. I promise you, WWE. And honestly, anyone from the babyface team can take a pin, and I don't think anybody's going to bat an eye. Rhea Ripley, she's so over with the crowd. If she gets pinned, as long as you make it realistic, no one's going to have an issue with it. Io Sky, earlier this year, had a bad championship reign. I don't think anybody's going to be surprised if she gets pinned. Charlotte and Alexa just lost their tag team championship, so it would kind of make sense storyline. Maybe they aren't on the same wavelength like they just were when they were champions. And then you also have AJ Lee, who, this is her second match back? I don't think anybody's going to be surprised if she gets pinned in storyline-wise. They might be surprised like, wow, she just comes back and she loses like that. It's War Games. Anything can happen. So yeah, I think Nia Jax, Lash Legend, Asuka, Kairi Sane, and Becky Lynch are going to win this women's War Games match. Hopefully they win. They need it. And that is it for my predictions for Survivor Series War Games. Once again, let me know down in the comments below who's coming out on top, who's leaving champion, who's leaving with their tail between their legs. Thank you all for watching, and I will see you next time.